After evaluating this case study, I have three thoughts that I'm really reflecting on. First, I was interested to learn about the ASVAD, the PASS, and the TAPAS. I've always been interested in psychological testing, and I find it very difficult to actually access sample items on these sorts of standardized tests, like the Hogan Personality Inventory. So, after searching for several sample items from the assessments that Dr. Kruger mentioned, I found mostly test prep materials from companies that are unaffiliated with the military. So, another thing I've been interested in is just the validity of that test prep community. For the actual content of the test, I've always been interested in the legitimacy of that for profit test community and wonder how they build validity for their practice and their training. Dr. Kruger conveyed so much intentionality in her team's approach to the job analysis and the development of such training programs, and I'm curious the extent to which test prep companies use that same sort of data collection methods. I was also interested to learn that Dr. Kruger's team suggested analyzing unemployment rates of recruits' hometowns, and I'm interested to learn more about this independently and what that would entail. I can easily foresee how these results of the unemployment statistics could correlate with zip codes where some protected subgroups primarily live, and that would result in a discriminatory practice. So I know that military jobs don't have to, use the regulations outlined by Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, but it just resonated with me as something that I wanted to pursue more in understanding. Years ago, I attended PSYC, and when I was interested in exploring a career in IO psychology, and I remember a robust discussion of whether or not an IP address from an online selection measure could be used as a factor within the selection procedure, because individuals with an IP address from a free computer at the library may have a disadvantage. The IP address could actually serve as a proxy for other individual characteristics that are protected under the law. The last thought that really I'm reflecting on is this idea of training as a means to improving KSAOs of applicants. Coming from a background in education, I've always found that training and development can be a small obstacle to counter inadequate qualifications. So I was the math instructional coach of a large charter school network in Washington, D.C., and I was responsible for the development of teachers' mathematical concepts, their understanding of math. During the transition to the Common Core math standards, many adults in our teaching community, principals, teachers, were not proficient in their mathematical understanding, and it was my job to close that gap in their KSAOs. And so I know it's often more cost effective to hire individuals that already possess the required KSAOs, but there are some missed opportunities with otherwise great candidates needing an additional bump in training in order to successfully perform on the job. So in our schools, what we always looked for were individuals with strong growth mindset, strong instructional practices, and the ability to build really authentic relationships with students and their families. And then our network decided that we were more responsible for filling in those gaps in employees' capacity for lesson planning and conceptual understanding in math. And so her proposal of implementing a training program, a developmental program to improve physical fitness really resounded with me because I've been doing that for a lot of my career. So I really appreciate you sharing this case study with me, and I have a lot to reflect on. Thank you so much.